Hi, and welcome to this new episode of Stepic Experience. I hope you all are doing well. Today's focus is on Stepic's polyphonic capabilities. We will create several patterns, each one builds on the previous one. When we are done with that, we'll use Stepic's pattern concatenation feature to create a little song. You can already hear the final result playing in the background. If you like what you hear and want to know how to get there, sit back and enjoy this video. And without further ado, let's start right into it. Besides Stepic, we have an analog that runs a slightly modified default preset. To get a nice texture and atmosphere later on, I also added a delay and a reverb. Before we start, let me quickly make a few adjustments that I want to have in all patterns. Let's give all patterns a length of 4 bars. For automatic pattern changes, I choose the next option, so we are able to cycle through our patterns. Also, let's activate hold. It prevents us from being interrupted by automatic pattern changes as we create them. That's it for the presets. Let's start with the note input. We are going to put all chord notes in while leaving their pitch on C. I like to use this technique when I want to transpose individual steps off bar later on. Currently, I'm using the arrow keys of my keyboard to switch between steps. It speeds up the process. Okay, I like this result so far. Let's save it in the first pattern slot. To bring in some variation, let's create a version with a longer note duration. I think that's good enough for a short intro. Let's begin with modulating things. Our main goal is to bring motion to the sequence, so we get an interesting and varied sound image. I want to modulate the release time of both oscillator envelopes. It brings life into our sound. To get a very slow rotation on this one, we use Stepic's custom note length option and set it to 2 bars. To widen up things, we also modulate panning of oscillator too. Using the dice function for value input. Let's do the envelope release mapping for the second oscillator. Sounds good to me. On to the next pattern. One of Stepic's unique features is its ability to set octaves and pitches independently. Each section can have its own sequence length, allowing for beautiful off-bar effects. We only modify the pitch values of 2 steps, so they basically operate as modulators. By shortening the sequence length, we make them roll through our patterns. Now the whole thing begins to take shape. To get even more movement into our sequence, we mix up note duration. I also like to activate divider, but only on a single step, because I don't want to overload the sound. Now let's work on the atmosphere of our track and activate the delay. We map the dry mat parameter which enables us to activate the delay only when this pattern is reached. What I really like to do is modulating the filter of the delay. So let's do it. By using right-click on the dice function, we draw value ramps into our sequence. The cycle speed is a bit too fast, I'm slowing it down. Beautiful. Let's add some more variation to the octaves and wrap up the pattern. Great so far, I like it. What we want to do next is make space. Therefore, let's activate the reverb. Just like with the delay, we map dry-wet first. It enables us to activate the reverb only when this pattern is reached. The main parameters we want to map are reverb filter and size. They add up to the motion and the depth of the sound. When modulating these parameters, always play around with value range and note and sequence length to find the perfect setting. Let's prepare for the grand finale and bring it all to a climax. We lift the whole sequence by an octave. To keep control of the high notes, it makes sense to lower the pitch here. Lifting it up. Now we are talking. In order to create a counterpart, let's lower the root note to G2. Oh yeah, now we are telling a story. In the last step, we want to spice up things even more. For this, we activate random step play order for pitches, octaves, and dividers. It makes the whole thing even more unpredictable. That's it for the pattern creation part. Let's build our little song. The song should build up constantly to pattern 7. And from there, it should cycle through the last 4 patterns in an endless loop. To give the delay enough room to unfold, we extend its pattern length to 8 bars. Our first 2 patterns are just meant to serve as a short intro. We shorten them to 2 bars. Okay, let's fire it up. I had to describe Stepic in one word, it would be motion. In just a couple of minutes, we created a structure that practically never repeats itself. We have set up a bass theme, but every cycle sounds different. I could listen to it for hours without getting bored. Okay guys, that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to learn more about Stepic, feel free to check out our website over at Devicemeister.com. If you already use Stepic and want to load this project on your side, I put a download link in the description. See you all in the next video. Bye.